Hi everyone, hope you're well. In today's episode of Meet the Products, I wanted to introduce you to the Westlock ICoT Smart Positioner. If you've seen my previous video on the Westlock K20 positioner, this is really the big brother of that product. It's a fully smart positioner with all the features and benefits that you'd expect. And there are so many things to talk about this position. I could probably do a presentation for about an hour, but I'm just going to show you some of the key features today that I think might be of interest to you. So the first one is how the positioner works. It's actually a non-contact positioner. So there's no physical contact between the positioner and the actuator. There's no linkages, there's no arms, there's no real points that can wear or get snagged or anything like that. And how the positioner works is via Hall effect. So basically on top of the actuator, you would have this puck, and there's a couple of magnets in there. On the bottom of the positioner, you've got this protruding part here that's got the Hall effect sensor in. And basically how it works is the Hall effect sensor sits in between the puck, and as the magnets rotate, the actual positioner uses Hall effect and it can sense where the positioner has told the actuator to go to, and it can move the actuator and get feedback of whether the actuator's moved to the right position. So it's a really nice feature of the positioner that you've not got that wear, there's no hysteresis and things like that. So that's one of the first features I wanted to show you. Because it's operated non-contact, it's the same positioner for linear and rotary applications. The only thing we change is the way that the magnets work. So instead of a rotary puck, we actually have a linear puck, which is kind of two channel magnets. We would mount the positioner on the actuator. We'd put the magnet on the stem of the valve or the actuator, depending where it would fit. And as that moves up and down at either side of the Hall effect sensor, in the same way it did with the rotary, it can actually work out where the actuator is and make any adjustments. So that's quite a nice little feature. The other brilliant thing about it, with it being non-contact, it's got a unique feature that we can actually remote mount the positioner. And we've had a lot of success with this over the years, solving some really tough applications for customers. So we can basically take the Hall effect sensor, we can fit the puck on top of the actuator, we can utilise a standard Westlock housing in aluminium or stainless steel or something like that. We can put the Hall effect sensor in there and we can have that on top of the valve. We can then mount the positioner up to 50 feet away. And why that's good for us is if you've got an application where there's maybe high vibration, you can move the positioner out of that environment. If it's high temperature and you don't want the instrumentation to be in that environment because it's too warm, we can again move it away. And also if the valve's in a really tricky place to get to, let's say it's really high up, or and you need scaffolding or a ladder or something to get up there, we can mount the Hall effect sensor on top of the valve, and then we can mount the positioner down at ground level. So if you do want to go into the menu and do any changes, it's easily accessible. So that's a great feature for us. The housing itself, we've got the manifold on there. And in the manifold, you've got the gauges to show you the pressures and things like that. We can do a high flow manifold. So if the valve gets bigger and bigger and bigger, we can put a high flow manifold on there. We've got this little window here, which is an LCD display. So if you come to the positioner and you want to check what the positioner is up to, you can have a look in here and it'll tell you the percentage open and things like that. It'll also show you if there's any error messages. So if there's a drop in air pressure or something like that, we get various different error messages in there and you can tell what's going on with the positioner. I like this window cover because it's in a really nasty application. It's all covered in dirt and things like that. It keeps the window clean. So if you do come to the positioner, you can quite easily see what's going on. The other thing is we've got this little access port. So if you want to get into the positioner to look at the menu, you just undo this little access port and you can get access to the three buttons in there which get you into the menu, allow you to scroll through the menu and all the features. You can instigate the auto cal function from there where the positioner will size itself to the actuator. So you can do all that without taking the lid off, which is quite nice. A couple of other features of this is this particular unit's got a couple of switches to give you end of travel. So the position itself comes with 4 to 20 milliamp retransmission from the electronics to tell you whether the valve is open or closed, but you can have the two switches for end of travel verification. And what we do with that is we basically put two bolts with the magnets in there. This would sit under the positioner. And as the valve opens and closes through 90 degrees, the switches make and unmake. Very similar to what I showed you in the video that I did for the silver bullet. It's the same positioner for double acting and spring return, so we just pipe it up depending on what type of actuator it's going on. We do an EXD version, which would be a stainless steel housing. This one's actually intrinsically safe, and it comes as intrinsically safe as standard. It's heart, so if that's a particular function that you want, it comes with heart as standard. We do a device net and a foundation field bus version. So there's so many different options really to talk about. It's a real problem solver for valve and process this, and we like this positioner a lot. The other thing we can do as a service for you at Valve and Process is we can produce the bracketry to put it on any actuator on the market. We can get the drive adapters machined. So in this particular instance, it's got a Namur tang on there, which would basically fit into the bottom of there, and that would drive the puck for us. It would sit on top of the bracketry, on top of the actuator, and we can produce that for you. As you may have seen from some of our marketing that we've been putting out just lately, we're also stocking the Keystone Actuator, and we can put the ICoT positioner on top of there, again using the mod mount bracket, which I've showed you in some of my earlier videos. That makes a really nice direct mount onto the actuator. So that is the Westlock ICoT Smart Positioner. Hope you found some of the things that I've showed you of interest. If you do have an application where you think this might be suitable, please give us a call. We'd love to get one of our experts to talk you through it and tell you what we can offer. We can send you some data sheets and things like that. We can maybe even sort out a trial for you if that's something you'd like to do. As always, if you're watching on social media, please give us a like and a share. The videos, as always, have been putting on our YouTube channel, so if you want to go back and watch again or see any of the other videos in the series that we've done, they're all on the YouTube channel. And hopefully you found this interesting. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.